Welcome everyone, day one of team racing. We're here in the Alpha course. We're seeing the starting procedure between Czech Republic and Mexico. Brazil and Morocco have just started their match. We will soon follow them around. And yeah, it's gonna be a great day of racing. We're gonna switch now to see the other fleets. And here we are in the close-up of the reaching already. Morocco versus Brazil, very light conditions at the moment. We have information that there's a bit of a current pushing the sailors out, so that will be very important part of the tactics, trying to push the sailors out as they will have P flag and have to go again and correct their error. So that will for sure be a big part of the team's strategy today. And in this first match between Morocco and Brazil, we have the local team represented by Sohaib, Sahadid, Yassin, Mariam, and Sami. For those that maybe don't understand the format or is the first time seeing it, it's a 4 versus 4, so one of the sailors takes a break. And then we're fighting, the locals are fighting here against a very strong Brazilian squad that have 3 sailors inside the top 10. Tomás, Francisco, Arthur, Manuel, and Joao. Let's see how it goes. Let's see who has trained harder this year and is able to really push with the team racing, because this is completely different set of skills. It's no longer like the fleet racing. Obviously starts and speed are very important, but if you have a good cooperation between the team, you can really achieve lots. Now we're getting an overview of the start again. We're here seeing the pre-start between Czech Republic and Mexico. This is match number 2 of the Alpha area. Ella, Hinek, Jakub, Hinek, and Luca representing the Czech Republic. And Mexico represented by Jorge, Lucia, Esteban, Otis, and Evan. Let's see who are the 4 sailors that from each country that will be racing. Look at the race committee, completely crossed, indicating there is very, very strong current. If you see the pink mark, it's a robotic mark, meaning that it's GPS positioned. It's not like the usual marks that are anchored, so this means that it's correcting itself all the time. It's a bit of a new technology that we're having here for the last few years, and what it does is just makes the racing quicker. We can move the marks without having to take all the anchor out, so we can just get quicker and quicker into racing. We're already seeing the Swedish and Austrian teams in the background also preparing for their races. Just after this one they will come. And look at the sailors now pushing. Czechia here really close to the starting line from our position. And we're seeing that it's a big mess here happening. This is always the usual in team racing. Umpires, 2 per match, really close, trying to see who is infringing rules. In order for sailors to protest each other, they have to hail protest and also show the red flag. This is something that's clear and it is not usually used in the individual racing, the red flag requirement, but here it is. And there's many reasons why the sailor can protest, most for the Part B rules, but they can also protest other sailors for sculling, pumping, basically Rule 42. So Very important to not break the rules, sail clean, and also try to push your rivals into positions they do not desire to be. There's teams that will just go for speed, and other teams that maybe go for making sure that the other team gets a penalty. The magic number that we'll see today and tomorrow is 18. Under 18 points, it's always a win. And another thing we will always see teams trying to push is for 7 and 8 on the other team. If it's 7 and 8, it's always a loss. So sailors really want to try and avoid those last two positions. Here we are following Mexico versus Czech Republic. Looks like Mexico is taking the early lead. At least in this right side of the course, we see 1, 2, 3 for Mexico sailors. And as I was saying before, the two umpires following really closely the fleet. But looks like Mexico is in a good position. Just let's check the course, how it usually looks. This is the course we are seeing. They start in an upwind leg, followed by a reaching, downwind, reaching again, and upwind to the start. In all the marks, you can do what is called a mark trap, which is where you try and trap the rivals in order for them to take a penalty, slow them down, let your teammates pass. There are many things you can do. Let's switch cameras around. And here we're seeing same racing from another view. Czech Republic, Mexico looking like still in the lead. The three sailors we saw from the right side coming strong. Very big current today, so hope the sailors have measured it. We saw how the race committee was completely tilted, indicating the strong current. And in this really light stuff, it's very important, very important to take it into account, as we're going slow relative to the current. So very important to keep up the boat speed and not stop, as it could really drag us down a ley line against a mark, against the committee or other boats even. So very important to not slow the boat down. Here we are again, Czech Republic versus Mexico. We're seeing the first Mexican sailor pass that last reaching to the finishing line. On the background we have Brazilian sailors and Morocco sailors that just came from their match. P1 for Mexico, Czech sailor in trying to stop the group. Let's see who he is when we get a bit of a close-up here. Here he is trying to lay a mark trap. We'll see him head up quickly, trying to slam dunk the Mexican sailors. Very important for him to take into account the current, as if he underlays it, he could let them pass. And he just decides to cross along. It's Luka from Czech Republic in P2. Mexican sailors Jorge Muñoz passing in 3rd overall. 4th overall for Otis. Looks like the Mexican sailors are here in a really strong position. They're dominating this match. Really important for them now to just keep everything under control. Try make sure that the Czech sailors don't pass them, and it could be first victory for them already. Here we are at the top finishing line now, seeing the sailors get to the finishing line. Next match we'll have coming up is Sweden versus Austria and Ireland versus New Zealand. The race committee will try to always have on board two matches at the same time in the course, so they'll give a bit of space between them, because here it's not about completing the course as fast as possible, but it's about trying to make sure that the rivals are behind you. It's completely different technique, completely different mindset, and it's very important for the sailors to adapt after 3 hard days of fleet racing qualifying, going straight into this. So this does not come automatically. They've worked for this and they are ready. There is, as in normal fleet racing, there is measurements after the finishing line. We have a measure in this course, which is course blue, area alpha, and then we have another one in area bravo. 2 sailors, one from each team, are selected randomly, and if they, by any reason, break the rules, they have normal penalties. They're obviously smaller as the fleet is smaller, but we can review them quickly. Bailer not tied, 1 point. Bailer not in the boat, 3 points. Daggerboard not attached correctly, 1 point. Whistle not attached, 1 point. No whistle, 3 points. And let's just say that the magic number once again is 18. If they get 3 points already, makes it very, very, very hard for them to win. So it's very important for them. And then normal laugh, measurement band, mast lock, all these really, really painful. 3 points really mean a lot. So very important for the sailors to comply and make sure they are within the class rules. And here we have Sweden versus Austria match. On one side, we're seeing the Swedes really and the Austrians split into 2 different fleets. It looks like they're racing 2 different races, but this is common. We have the leading group, Sweden P1, Austria P2, Austrian Sweden here in P3, and last, umpire just put up a green flag, meaning that they didn't see an incident there. When the sailors protest, the umpires give real-time decisions. It can be either a red, which means 2 turns, or a green, and if it's a green flag, the game just keeps going. Red flag, you have to take 2 turns. They can also sometimes, but it's very rare for them to do so, raise a black flag, which means they don't have a clear decision about the incident, and they decide to postpone it, the judgment, until after the race. But that is very, very rare. Normally they just do they just give green or red flags. And representing Austria in this race, there's the 5 team members: Paul, Daniel, Tim, Maria, and Clemens. One of them will be resting, as there's only 4 versus 4 race. And for Sweden, we have Amanda, Oliver, Didrik, Carl, and Natalia. Same, one of them is resting. If now we can get a bit of a close-up of the races and see the cell numbers, we can see who is actually in this match. And here we have a bit of a different shot. We're seeing the fleet in the background already returning to the race course. 1 team with a win, 1 team with a loss. As soon as we get the results, we will update you with what's happening where. And for now, this is how it works. Winner from each race passes to the next round directly. Losers match against each other. So from Brazil, Morocco, Czech Republic, Mexico, winners will fight against each other, losers against each other. If you're loser in the first round, you get one more chance, but if you lose again, that's the end. That means you don't pass to the next flight. Whilst if you're a win, you can lose basically one match. You can lose one match from now until the finals. So it's very important to be consistent, and it's not about doing great deeds, it's about just keeping it enough, making sure that your team passes the round. So if you have a secure position like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 5, something like this, very common tactic is just letting the last person slow down the fleet, split it up so the sailors that are in front can really work on their boat speed and just keep it simple, whilst the sailors on the back just get left more and more behind. Here we're seeing Sweden and Austria. It looks like Sweden is in a very comfy position here. The Swedes that we saw on screen is Oliver, Didrik, and who is Oliver, Didrik, and Karl. 1, 2, 3, 4. First sailor is from Austria, and it is who stopped the team here. Looks like one of the Swedes stopped the team. It's Swedish sailor Amanda that's taking care of the 3 Austrians. As you see, really big gap. Austria in the first place now has to do something. They have to try and stop the rest of the team, or try make sure that they're delayed until their teammates can catch up. Otherwise, 2, 3, 4, it's a win for Sweden. So let's see how it plays out for them, but Sweden looking very good in this last leg. Here we have the close-up. We're seeing it is, let's see who is this. Austria that just passed is Tim. Second place for Karl. Sorry, third place for Karl. Second place for Oliver. And let's see who is the other Swede. And here we have the third Swede that's giving the Swedes a victory. And that is Didrik. 2, 3, 4 for Oliver, Didrik, and Karl. Whilst Amanda took care of the 3 Swedes, so that for the 3 Austrians, so that's it. Round number 2 for the Swedes. Austria will now fight against the loser of Ireland versus New Zealand, and it will be death match for them. Whoever from Ireland, New Zealand loses fights Austria, and whoever loses will mean game over for them. And here we have the next match, New Zealand versus Ireland. New Zealand represented by Noah, Tom, William, Ali, and Jeffrey, while Ireland represented by Holly, Meave, Emily, Philippa, and Oscar. Ireland is a full girls team, nearly only Oscar, whilst New Zealand is a bit the opposite, 4 boys, 1 girl. It's for every country a maximum of 5 sailors that can represent their country at the game. Whilst only here 4 under team racing, 1 is taking a break while the other 4 battle it against each other. And here we're seeing the finish line of Ireland versus New Zealand. Looks like it's Irish Oscar taking P1, followed by Emily taking P2. New Zealand, Noah in third place. Irish Maeve in fourth place, so 1, 2, 4 makes it a win for Ireland if we have not missed any of the other sailors. Shame for New Zealand, they will now battle against Austria in this match, while the next one we will see in a bit will be Sweden versus Ireland. So knockoff between New Zealand and Austria. One that will lose will mean they're out, and the winner gets one more chance. Next up, we have Argentina versus Virgin Islands. Here we have it. Argentina, usually a very, very strong nation in team racing. I believe they did a medal a few years ago. And here we have it. The sailors battling against each other are Tomás, Joaquin, Gino, and another Tomás. So this is the Tomás team, not the Argentina team. And on the other hand, we have Virgin Islands sailors Samantha, Avery, Kip, Finn, and Hunter. Let's try identify who are the 4 sailors that are racing at the moment against each other. And here we are seeing them go towards the finishing line, very light, and we can see that the sailors are going downwind one way, but if we look at the race committee pointing a completely different way, meaning the current is very strong, pushing them from the left to the right of our screens as we see them. So if they overdo and go too much on port, then it could mean that when they come back, they have a bit of trouble. Sorry, when they come on starboard, they have a bit of trouble coming back on port. So important to not overdo that, especially with the tight mark rounding. It's very important to calculate well, because if you want to execute a mark trap and you leave the zone and then you re-enter, you might lose rights that you used to have. And we can see here from a more aerial perspective, Argentina P1. It is Gino in P1, followed P2 by Tomás. And let's see if we can see now who are the other sailors. Finn Hodgins from Virgin Islands in battling it there with the 2 Argentinians. And the last sailor we see is Tomás. The Tomás Argentina team squad going strong. They have at the moment 1, 2, and let's see if it's Finn from Virgin Islands or Tomás Molinari from Argentina rounding in 3. If it's a 1, 2, 3, it's gonna be an easy match now for Argentina, just trying to consolidate and keep a win. Next match we'll see at the moment is Switzerland versus Bermuda. Winners fight each other, of the winner against Argentina and Virgin Islands, and then the losers between them fight the loser of the Switzerland versus Bermuda match. And here we're seeing the Finland-Austrian team sharing a rib for the team racing. There's different allocations. Only the teams that are racing are allowed to go out. If you're not qualified or your team does not have sufficient sailors, they have to stay on shore. No training today for anyone. It's only a team racing day. And also AP at the moment. So once we finish the matches we have on course, it will mean that we're going to wait a bit. Probably wind dropped a bit and the current is too intensive for the wind, so we cannot properly race. Here we're seeing the finishing line. Gino taking P1, P2 for Tomás Calvo, and we're seeing back in the background Tomás Molinari fighting P3 against Finn Finn Hodgins. If it's a 1-2-3, Argentina will be happy because they will be fighting against in the next round winner of Switzerland versus Bermuda, and then Virgin Islands will face a loser between Switzerland and Bermuda. In this course coming up next, we also have Turkey versus Peru, Singapore versus Denmark, Puerto Rico versus Latvia, and Norway versus Chile, Spain versus Angola, and Finland versus Hong Kong. Many fans in the chat today. I hope you're all enjoying and supporting your nation. So let us know who are you cheering for. Who are you looking for behind? Joao asking here, they want to see Angola. Angola at the moment are not racing yet. They will race in a bit once their match starts against Spain. That will be the first match they have. Next up, Bermuda versus Switzerland about to start. Big overview here of the pier with course blue in the background. Still AP at the moment. We're seeing Bermudian sailors already starting to prepare, but we have AP. We've been confirmed we have AP at the moment. Let's just review who we are seeing in the next match. Is from Bermuda, Miguel, GSC, Tomas, Heath, and Rax. And in representing Switzerland, we have Dimitri, Adrian, Lou, Tim, and Elliot. I remember Tim from last year in Worlds. He did some good races. I remember cheering for him and seeing him in the leading position, so he'll for sure be happy to be sailing another World Championship. And here we have our other onboard camera. We're seeing Bermuda sailor here in the start. We're in one of the closest and best positions we can. We're seeing the sailors, Tim Bailey that we were just speaking about in the pre-start, Adrian Kohler, Bermuda sailor, Thomas also here with Jesse from Bermuda. Really close up. We're really seeing the real action, and once again, please look at this incredible current. Committee facing one way and the boat's going upwind a different way. Back with the live action. Switzerland versus Bermuda. Just remember that to first get here, all the countries had to qualify to this team racing. And we're seeing sailors. This is quite different from usual situations. We're seeing the sailors like go really low in the start, and they're just trying to make sure they're not over the line. Switzerland, coached by Adrián Barceló, coach from Spain. He is here helping the Swiss team, and he's really good at team racing, had a really strong local team, and has even coached world champions. So he knows the technique and the secrets here needed by the Swiss to do a good match. Dimitri here closest to pin, with Bermudan sailor Rex really pushing against him. Team Bailey tacking off. There's many ways to set up the team racing. You can go one-on-one, every man-on-man it's called, and every sailor has someone they need to cover. You can maybe do this based on the techniques, if you know which sailor is faster and which sailor is slower, or you can also do it based on how they're sailing or what the strength of your own sailors is. So you can either play your strengths or play the sailors' weaknesses, and it's just about this. Here we have different shot from the same race, Bermuda versus Switzerland. Winner of the pairing will face Argentina, and loser of the pairing will face Virgin Islands. So very important here to make sure you don't lose this first match, as you can only lose one more match. Second match you lose, you're out of the game. So you don't really want to burn it in this first rounds where the teams are more allotted based on random. When you get to the top and the teams start progressing, it's a completely different story. And here we are. We can see that based on which camera we have, the conditions look completely different. From the camera we had before, it looked a bit stronger wind, but now here we can see how it's light, and it's very tricky. Switzerland's Team Bailey rounding in P1. Also squeezing in, we have Dimitri and another Swiss sailor. Let's see if we can see their number, 2044, 1853, and I believe it's 2031 in P1. That is Adrian. So looks like the sailors are being able to hold the 1, 2, 3. Swiss sailor Dimitri is taking turns here, and we have seen a green. He was taking turns for a previous incident, but another incident has just occurred, and we see the umpire flagging a green flag. That means that he believes that no rules have been broken, and we can see how the match suddenly turns around from one moment to another. It was looking like 1, 2, 3 or a 1, 2, 4 for Switzerland, and suddenly changes completely, and we still have that leading 2 Swiss boats against Rex from Bermuda. But we can see that the match at the tide has really tightened up. Bermuda are really trying to make their most to fight Argentina in the next match, whilst Switzerland are also trying to defend. All the teams want to win, they've prepared. You don't come here just without training, and you know your teammates very well. You've raced them at nationals usually to qualify before, so it's not that you come here and you don't know the sailors. You know, you've raced against them, so you know their strengths and weaknesses, and you just need to make sure that you put everything together to make sure you're combining all the efforts into one goal. As the day progresses, we will update you with the results of the racing. Once they get posted and we get to know them and can share them, we will share them with you. For the matches we have seen as for now, Brazil versus Morocco, Brazil won. Czechia versus Mexico, still pending results. Sweden versus Austria, we saw Sweden win. Ireland versus New Zealand, we saw Ireland win. Argentina versus Virgin Islands, we saw Argentina win. So we are now on the match number 6, which is Switzerland versus Bermuda. Here we are, Switzerland 2031 holding into the lead. That is Adrian from Switzerland still in P1, Tim Bailey in P2, and teammate Dimitri in P3. So looks like the Swiss are very comfy here. Also 4th place for Swiss Sailor. So looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4. If they can hold this, that's a straight pass to the next round, and they will face Argentina in the next round, whilst we will see Virgin Islands versus Bermuda in match number 18. We now have to finish still the first round of flights, flight A. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more matches. The next one we'll see coming up is Turkey versus Peru, two very strong nations. Turkey at the moment leading the individual overall, and Puerto Rico have Ines that last year managed to finish in the girls podium at Worlds, vice world champion if I'm not mistaken. So it is going to be a very, very interesting match coming up. And here we see it, we're seeing the sailors just finish from Switzerland and Bermuda. Unfortunate for the Bermudian sailors, they really tried, and at one moment they even managed to turn the match around. We were seeing it get very, very tight, but the Swiss managed to hold on and defend that lead. So coach Adrian Barceló will be very, very happy passing into the next round, as well as all his sailors will be. Here we have it, match number 7, Turkey versus Peru. Here we see the sailors for the next match lining up. Singapore versus Denmark. Representing Singapore we have Ashleen, Lucas, Lyric, Kevin and Ethan. And representing Denmark we have Benjamin, Lurk, Luca, Emil and Asger. So we will soon see the 4 sailors battling each other from every nation. And here we have the approach of the top upwind mark of flight number 7. It is Turkey versus Peru. We can see Turkish sailor really stopping the boat there. It's Metahem trying to stop the boat, maybe to let teammates pass. Cengiz from Turkey. Looks like Turkey is very strong. P1 for Turkey, P2 for Turkey, P3 for Turkey. Looks like they have their tactics clear. 1, 2, 3. And we see another Turkish sailor, Eren, bypassing and making a bit of distance. Peruvian sailor Chiara managing to squeeze in between the Turkey armada. Let's see if she can fend off or stop any of the sailors, but she has a really tricky situation to deal with. She cannot really slow down to help her teammates, and she needs to at least catch one of the sailors and make sure that he stops them well. So we have updated results. We will see in the next round, flight B, once we finish this initial flight A. Brazil versus Mexico. Mexico was the winner of the match. Czech Republic versus Mexico. While we'll see the losers of the previous matches, Morocco versus Czech Republic. We will see the winners, Sweden and Ireland, battle it against each other. Sweden, sponsored by life jacket brand Baltic, which are collaborating in the stream, so great support from them, allowing us to be here. We really thank it. And then we will see Austria versus New Zealand in the losers bracket. Argentina versus Switzerland coming in match 17, and Bermuda versus Virgin Islands in match 18. On the other course, at the moment we have a flight A going on. We have had Greece versus India, where Greece won and India lost. Australia versus Belgium, Canada versus UAE, France versus Thailand, Portugal versus Germany, Italy versus Israel, Malta versus Azerbaijan, Japan versus Slovenia, Netherlands versus Hungary, USA versus Croatia, GBR versus Ecuador, and Poland versus Uruguay. Once we have updated results of this course also, we will let you know. At the moment we only have the results of race number 1 in course B, which is Greece versus India, resulting in a win for Greece. And here we have another shot. We're seeing Turkish sailor. Turkey and Peru just coming back to the starting line after the race has finished. So we have confirmation that Turkey and Peru have restarted the match. We saw them at the top mark just a few minutes ago, but they are back into the starting line. Probably race was abandoned due to a shift or something like this. We will ask for confirmation why it was abandoned, and once we know, we'll let you know. But here we are again. Pre-start, green flag already coming up, so no infractions committed. And we have representing Turkey, Yagmur, that was at last year's Worlds, Cengiz, current European champion, and also for Peru we have Chiara, Sofia, Daniel de la Puente, and last sailor we are missing from Peru is Franco. So those are the 4 team members. Lorenzo at the moment taking a break. We're seeing that the sailors here are going non-stop. We have Yagmur. Here we are following the match. Looks like the right side is paying off. Could be because of the current differences or a bit of a pressure or shift difference. We don't know at the moment. We're in land retransmitting this live event. So a bit tricky for us to see, but looks like the sailors really have it all clear to go on port first and then tack back to starboard. Turkish sailor tacking now, Metehan just tacking. Yagmur also crossing here, and we see Cengiz from Turkey. Looks like they're in a 1-2-3 again. Chiara from Peru coming with her teammate Franco. They're crossing ahead, so this is a bit of a different situation we saw before where Turkey was 1-2-3 at the top mark. So let's see how they battle it now. Here we have top sailors passing the top upwind mark. Chiara P1 with Franco teammate in P2. We have to see what strategy they will adopt to be able to defend and have one teammate pass. And here we are reaching of this rematch, Turkey versus Peru. As soon as we get confirmation of why we had the rematch, we will let you know. So we have more updated results of the other fleet, the yellow fleet. We will see in the winners of the matches 1 and 2, Greece versus Australia. Australia took the win, and we'll see the losers, India versus Belgium. Soon upcoming we'll have Canada versus UAE and France versus Thailand. Once we know their updated results, we will also let you know. Peru's Franco holding into place number 1, teammate Chiara holding into place number 2, and Cengiz from Turkey close up there in place 3. 4th for Metehan here in this reaching, with Eren from Turkey also in P5 and P6 for Yagmur. At the moment Peru having a 7 and an 8, which is not good at all. They will need to change this around. Peruvian sailor Sofia really fell behind in this match. Maybe she had to take some turns or something, so her teammate Daniel de la Puente will have to make sure he fends off Yagmur from Turkey. And here we have the finishing line for the match Peru versus Turkey. It's a tight match. Can't really say straight away who won. We'll have to wait for the results confirmation. So as soon as we know the results, we'll let you know. And after a short break by the commentators just to drink a bit of water, we are back here. We have updated results from the yellow course. Canada beat UAE and France beat Thailand, so the next round we'll see Canada versus France and UAE versus Thailand. And we're here still in course blue seeing the live action. At the moment we're about to finish the first rounds. We have Puerto Rico versus Latvia in the course and Norway versus Chile about to start. Here we have it. And here we have we're live again. We have Chile versus Norway in course blue. Let's see if we can catch up to the race, but looks like at the moment Norway is in a very, very strong position. Norway taking 1, 2, and 3. We have Norwegian sailors in this match, which are Isaac, Noah, Nikolai, Oscar, and Camille. Whilst representing Chile, we have Martin, Vicente, Domingo, Vicente, and Agustin. Let's see if we can see which of the sailors are racing and which of each team is resting. I see Oscar from Norway, Noah from Norway, and Nikolai from Norway taking 1, 2, 3. Very comfy there, very well sailing the boat. We can see the umpire in the background, making sure they are not pumping or anything, because normal racing, this is still sailing and you can get flagged for rule 42, so you have to be very, very careful to not overdo the pumping, ouching, or sculling. So they have to make sure they are within or rocking within the rules of the class. And here we have Oscar taking P1, followed by Noah taking P2 and Nikolai taking P3. So that means 1, 2, 3 win for them. They live another day, and they will be seeing themselves against the winner of Puerto Rico versus Latvia. Loser of Puerto Rico versus Latvia will face Chile in the next game, and we're gonna see them very soon, see what other racing we have in the course. At the moment we don't have any other racing, so we will come back with you in a second, and we're just gonna play a few adverts by our sponsors. And here we have a close-up of the match, Angola versus Spain. We have Spanish sailor Mara Peñalver in P1, followed by Valentina Belso in P2. Whilst, let's see who else we have. Dani Capa in P3, so it looks like a 1, 2, 3 for Spain at the moment. Let's see if we can see their fourth sailor, or if it will be an Angola sailor. Representing Angola, we have Vasco, Telmo, Gabriel, and Emanuela. So it looks like the Angola sailors managed to leave Hugo Gonzalez in last position. So what the Angola sailors will try and do now is try to pass Daniel Capa. If they manage to pass Daniel Capa and leave him in second to last, so 7th position, that will mean he will be in trouble. Here we have the finish. Here we have the match of Finland versus Hong Kong. This is match number 12. This will be the last match of Flight A and the Blue Fleet. After that, we'll start seeing winners versus winners and losers versus losers. Just to do a small recap of what we have until now. We have Brazil versus Mexico in the next round, Morocco versus Czech Republic, Sweden versus Ireland, Austria versus New Zealand, Argentina versus Switzerland, Virgin Islands versus Bermuda, Turkey versus the winner of Singapore versus Denmark, which we have not been able to see, and Peru versus the loser of Singapore versus Denmark. So we're seeing this last match of the first round, Hong Kong versus Finland. And here we are in the last upwind of this race, Hong Kong versus Finland. We're just in the finishing line. We see Hong Kong sailors taking 1, 2, and 3, so it looks like it's a win for them. It was Hong Kong sailor Rohan, Alix, and Margot taking 1, 2, 3, so that means race for Hong Kong. Hong Kong moves into the next round where they will face Spain, and the next match in the next round will be Angola versus Finland. And here we are back to the second round of matches. We're seeing now Brazil versus Mexico, South America versus Central America. These teams have for sure fought against each other at the North Americans or South American Championships, which are open championships that other countries can participate. And here we are seeing them fight against each other once again. We're also seeing Austria training there, probably preparing for their match against New Zealand. They were the losers, unfortunately, in this first match against Sweden, so they will fight New Zealand, which lost against Ireland. And here we are, some more live shots. We're seeing Ireland and Spain rib here, getting a bit of a close-up. They are waiting for the next matches. Ireland will face Sweden, whilst Spain will face Hong Kong. They have a bit of a waiting time. We still have to go through the whole round of flights B. Today will be a long day, lots of matches for all the sailors, so it's very important to stay focused during the day. They cannot afford to drop their concentration, as every match is important. Just to remember, we can lose one match. If we lose one match, we can fight the loser of the next match, but once we lose two matches, we're out. It's game over. Tomorrow we will have the first world champion of 2026 crowned, which will be the team racing team that wins. They will be crowned world champions in the final ceremony during the last day, after the last day of final racing. And whilst we're waiting here for the matches to occur and get a few more shots, let's just go a bit over the individual results, because this is a bit of a day off, a bit of a, let's say, different event within this event. Very long event. We have team racing and individuals, and at the moment individually we have Cengiz from Turkey that we have seen in some matches before in P1. Really solid. 1, 1, 2, 3, 5. Second place for Andrea de Murtas. Andrea scored a 4-3-1-1-8, so also very solid. We just finished qualifying. Yesterday was race number 5 of qualifying, meaning that after tomorrow's team racing final, we move into the finals where the gold fleet, silver, bronze and emerald fight. P3 we have in P3. In the individual results, we have Arthur Lamin with a 2-1-3-4-5. Very solid Arthur at the moment. He is second in total points, just beaten by Cengiz. Fourth overall for Carl Bergersen. Carl Bergersen last year managed to finish third overall in the Worlds at Slovenia, so showing he's a top contender once again here. And rounding up top 5 overall, Portuguese sailor Guilherme Costa. Guilherme scoring a 1-2-1-9-14. Very solid. First 2 days we saw a bit more of a stronger breeze, whilst yesterday, after a very long wait, the yellow fleet raced in a very light breeze, whilst the rest of the fleets sailed very late in a stronger breeze that finally kicked in. It's good we managed to score yesterday race number 5, because it meant that it was over, the qualifying was over. If not, we would have to race qualifying on the day after tomorrow, so the Thursday, and that would mean that we delay and cut the program. At the end, the Gold Fleet is where the matches real happen, where the real competition starts, and it's very important to get those races in, because the top sailors can match against each other. At the moment, they were divided into 4 different fleets, so it meant that they were not fighting against each other. Like Cengiz won a race, whilst Arthur also won at the same time. Guilherme Costa also won that same race, and Tomás Morteo all won the first race. But how can it be possible? You know, you're winning the first race, but all of them are in different fleets. So this is where the big deal happens once we get into Gold Fleet, as all these sailors, the top 72 sailors, if I'm not wrong, match against each other. And you score a first, the other person scores a 50, you're 49 points ahead, and you can really control the fleet and control your rivals in this last few days when it slowly approaches into that, where the sailors will try to just fend off the other sailors and make sure in the lead. And here we have Brazil versus Mexico just going off. These are the winners of the first match. We see them just going on. Current still very, very strong. Brazil, we have at the moment, is represented by Manuel Braganza. We're just seeing him. Arthur Lamin, that we were just speaking about, third overall individual, also here fighting it off. Got lighter for sure. We're also seeing Joao from Brazil, and let's see if we can find the last Brazilian sailor, which is at the moment covered, so a bit tricky seeing him. But on the other hand, for Mexico, we have fighting at the moment, representing Mexico, Lucio Peña, Jorge Muñoz, and let's see if we can see our other Mexican friends. We are also having here Otis, Baile, and last but not least, Esteban. These are the four sailors representing Mexico in the Mexico versus Brazil match. And here we see them go. Quite tight at the moment, quite tricky to know who is winning. We'll see as we approach the top mark, as we see them converge, who will be winning. Two umpires following closely this match. Very important to make sure that the sailors are well surveyed, because the sailors here will try to provoke incidents, create incidents in order for their teammates to pass. We're seeing here that they're tacking like crazy, non-stop tacking. Tacking is a vital part of the team racing, because if you can make some speed within the limits, or at least not lose speed, it means that we can really use the tacking duels to stop our rivals while not being too late. Manuel rounding in first place at top mark. Arthur Lamin just holding here Mexican sailor Jorge Muñoz, but Jorge decides to pass, and we'll see how Arthur Lamin manages to hold. First for Manuel, Arthur in third place with Brazilian Joao in fifth. Beside him we had Jorge Muñoz and other Mexican sailor. Let's change camera to see better. We're seeing that it's Otis Bale in the bunch, and last two at the moment is not looking good for Mexico. Mexico has 7 and 8. We really want to try and avoid that, so they need to try and find their way through the fleet and make sure to get back into that, get out of those dangerous 7 and 8 positions. But we're seeing Brazil doing a really good job. Francisco from Brazil really holding off their Mexican sailor. But look at the reaching mark. He's going crazy here, very light. We've just seen Manuel pushing the boom, trying to make it go forward. Now we see Manuel lifting the centerboard. I was just gonna comment that it's a bit strange for him to not lift the centerboard. Maybe he's just trying to keep the boat stable, not make too much distance, because he has to be available to help his team whenever needed. Let's see if we have any other cameras of this race live. So it looks like the other cameras are not available at the moment. But let's go into the other shot. Following the downwind here, we have another great shot. Manuel still in P1, just keeping it simple. Let's see if we can see who is in P2 and P3. And in team racing, any moment, just that one mark rounding can really completely change the situation. It can go from 0 to hero or hero to 0. At the moment, we're seeing Brazil 1, 2, 3. So Mexico has to do something to turn it around. We'll now see Mexican sailor, probably Arthur Lamin, stopping a bit here, trying to fend off the Mexicans. If he can manage to give a bit of distance to his teammates from Brazil, Manuel and Joao, it will make their life very easy. At the moment, some of you are asking for yellow course results. We still don't have any more updates. We're waiting to see how the race progresses. and we are here in flight B of course blue. We're seeing the first match of this second round, Brazil versus Mexico. Soon we'll have Morocco versus Czech Republic coming up. They're probably already in pre-start. We'll soon see if we can see anything about the other matches. Great close-up here. We're seeing Brazilians still in a good position, but Mexican sailors Jorge Munoz and Otis Bailey not giving up at all. If they can manage between the two of them to stop one of the three Brazilians, could turn the whole situation around. Because if we can manage to put one of those Brazilians in the 7th or 8th place and we hold the one that's already back, could turn the match completely around. But Brazil are not going to give up for sure. The sailors are really strong in individual results at the moment. They're a really top nation. In the scorecard at the moment, they have Arthur in 3rd overall in the individual, Manuel in 6th, and Francisco in 11th. 3 sailors in top 11, that is crazy. But we don't have to go much back to find the rest of the team. We have Joao in 22nd and Tomas in 29th. Very crazy. 5 sailors and all of them in top 30. This is something that shows that they are working really well. I've been told that their coach has a really strong group, so hats off to their coach for having such a strong nation. And here we are with Morocco versus Czech Republic. Crazy every time we go to this really close-up camera how the conditions are completely different. Looks like we're in a different race course, but it's just the perspective. It looks way windier in one course compared to the other. And here we have Morocco unfortunately lost in the first match against Brazil, and Czech Republic lost against Mexico. So this is the results we are seeing, the match we're seeing at the moment. Czech boat taking the lead at the moment. It is Luka, first place, Jakub from 2nd place, and then we have Morocco sailor local Sohabib and Sami in 3rd and 4th, followed closely by Ella and Hinek from Czech Republic. So Morocco at the moment in a bit of trouble. They need to change things around. If they lose the match for whatever reason, it's game over. They already lost the first one, so 2 losses puts you out of the game. So they will have to turn this around. Same for Czech Republic. Whoever loses from here will unfortunately mean it's the end for them. So very tight match, very important match for both teams. They want to stay and live for one more match. Soon coming up, we'll have Sweden versus Ireland, winners of race 3 and race 4. So let's just follow the Czech versus Morocco match whilst we wait for the winners, Sweden and Ireland. So we have back some more information about the matches in the yellow course. I will read to you the results we've had as for now. In the match Portugal versus Germany, Portugal won. Germany obviously lost. You're either a winner or a loser in the matches here. Whilst in match 6 we had Italy versus Israel. Italy, always very strong nation, working throughout the year as a squad, and they won the match against Israel. So we will see in the next round Portugal versus Italy and Germany versus Israel. Then next up we had Malta versus Azerbaijan. Malta won, Azerbaijan lost, and we had Japan versus Slovenia. So, and whilst Japan took the win, it's quite crazy seeing this, because last year Slovenia was a very strong team. They had a sailor Mihail Sobets, that I believe finished second overall. So quite shocking to see they've lost. Probably Japanese squad have really been training team racing and it shows. So we'll have Malta versus Japan coming soon, and Azerbaijan versus Slovenia. In matches 9 and 10 we had Netherlands versus Hungary and USA versus Croatia. The winners were Netherlands and USA, while the losers were Hungary versus Croatia. So that will be the next match. We're still waiting for the results of GBR versus Ecuador and Poland versus Uruguay, but whilst we're waiting for these results, we're now live with Sweden versus Israel. Round two of the match on the blue fleet, so let's just see how they are doing. We're at the moment following also Czech Republic versus Morocco. Looks like Czech Republic at the moment are under control with a 1-2-4. And we're back here with Sweden versus Ireland. And here we have the top mark approaching of Ireland versus Sweden. A few seconds ago we saw iconic yellow life jacket that the team Sweden always has. It's the life jackets provided by Baltic, which are also the sponsor of today's stream. We have Holly from Ireland rounding in first position. Let's change cameras and see a bit better the match. We're seeing the sailors just go to the reaching mark. We're seeing Amanda and Natalia there with close to Didrik, and Carl, whilst Carl just taking a turn there. Yes, Carl taking a turn unfortunately, but looks like Sweden is not in the worst position. Let's get a close-up here. We see the Irish sailors in the back at the moment, not looking good for them. They for sure want to turn around the situation and try to win this match, because a loss would take them into the losers bracket already, which would put them one off sudden death. So important match. Every match is important. The team racing is designed in a way for it to be always critical to win every match. And here we are, downwind of the match, Ireland versus Sweden. Very light once we get those close shots. We're seeing Holly versus Amanda close by. And here we change shot to see a bit of a different view. We're seeing Didrik and Natalia and Amanda getting close to the mark. Lots of current, so once again sailors have to really make sure they really don't touch those marks. A penalty in such a light winds and the current could be very fatal. We're seeing Carl take turns. Here we see him just take a turn. Was one turn, so it means there was a self acknowledgement. If you get flagged by the umpire, it's always 2 turns, so it could mean that he acknowledged that he did a mistake and he just took the turns himself. Didrik there going high in the reaching, probably just letting his teammate Natalia pass over. Whilst we're seeing Holly still getting close. Very important, this reaching. They have to make sure that they prepare for the upwind in a position that just makes your team just need to defend, because if you're getting into this last approach to the upwind mark and into the upwind finish and you have to turn the situation around, it could be very dangerous for your team. So for those of you just joining in, whilst we see here the sailors approaching the reaching mark, let's just review the course quickly. Upwind start, followed by a reaching. Downwind, we're now in the second reaching, and then they finish in the top upwind finish. And here we see, like, something that's very curious from the team racing is that the sailors don't always look for the fastest path. They're looking for the path that makes their team win, which could differ highly from the fastest path. And we see how the sailors, like here, it will be a straight line, no? It's a reaching from one mark to another. No need to jibe or anything, but we see that here gets messy very quickly. You have to try to mark trap, let your teammates pass. We're seeing Natalia from Sweden just cruising there with her yellow Baltic jacket. Second place at the moment for Didrik. Holly from Ireland in third place, but it looks light. It looks light and looks like the Irish have to turn the situation around. 1-2 for the Swedish at the moment, and let's see if we can locate their third boat, which could mean they're in the victory. We're also seeing the losers of the previous match, which was New Zealand and Austria. New Zealand lost against Ireland and Austria lost against Sweden, so we're seeing them also go on the upwind. Winner of that match lives another day. Loser of the match, unfortunately, it's the end of the game for them. And we're seeing, as always, I've said before, we always and will constantly have 2 matches going on. This is to keep the game flowing, have a high tempo, allow the racing to not get too long, because we have a total of 37 matches in the yellow fleet coming up, and 38 matches in this blue course. From there, 48 teams we cut down, and tomorrow we'll see the finals racing going on for the first World Championship title of this 2026 Tanger Worlds, presented by us in Road to Gold. And here we are seeing finishing line, Natalia from Sweden taking P1, Amanda taking P2, and Didrik taking P3 or 4. Bit different, it's difficult to see from our perspective, but looks like it's a win for Sweden here. So that means we will see the winner of Brazil versus Mexico come along. I believe it was Brazil that won the match, so we'll see Brazil versus Sweden, and then we will see Mexico. We will then see the winner of Morocco versus Czech Republic face Ireland. So once we get those updated results in the bracket, we'll let you know what's going on. And yeah, we have confirmation, a bit of updates. We will see in the next round, after we finish this flight B, we'll see Brazil versus Sweden. It's gonna be a very interesting match. Sailors in both nations inside the top 10 with excellent coaches, both of them, that will help them prepare extremely well. We'll see Mexico versus the winner of Austria versus New Zealand, still racing, so we cannot know that pairing. And then we will see Morocco that won Czech Republic versus Ireland. The grid gets complicated. It's 48 teams in total, and we need to cut down and know the world champion in 2 days, so it does get a bit complicated. Teams always get a second opportunity. They can lose one match and still live on, but here we are. We're in the match of the winners of Argentina versus Virgin Islands and Switzerland versus Bermuda. So we're in Argentina versus Bermuda. Losers, Virgin Islands versus Switzerland. And here we are, Argentina versus Bermuda. We're seeing in the screen the Tomás team, as we've said before, 3 Tomás from the 5 Argentinians. Tomás Calvo just going for attack, most left of the pack, but looks like the whole fleet have it clear that they have to go towards that right side. They're not giving up at all. And let's see if we can change around, see a bit this match from a different perspective. We're seeing at the moment Austria versus New Zealand whilst we wait for our cameras to relocate. Austria in 1-2 position, New Zealand in 3-4-5, and looks like New Zealand 6 and Austria 7, so we are missing one of the sailors. He could maybe be in front, which could determine how the regatta ends. Quick flash now to the Argentina versus Bermuda approaching the top mark. Tomás Calvo rounding in P1, followed by Joaquin in P2 and Gino in P3, and another Argentinian, Tomás Morteo, in P4. This is crazy. 1, 2, 3, 4 for the Argentinians. At the moment is looking very good for them. We still have a bit of the course left. We're in this reaching now, the top reaching. We have a downwind, another reaching, and the finish. So we've seen it before and we can see it once again. The situation changes very quickly, so for sure the Argentinian team, the Argentinian squad, cannot let their guard down. Mistake by them, even if you crash between teammates, it's also a penalty you have to take. So any mistake, even if it looks not too hurtful, could change the match really quickly. Let's look while we're following the racing around. Let's see if we have any more updated results from the other bracket. And we have updates now. We have GBR versus Ecuador. GBR won, and they will be facing Uruguay that just beat Poland. So we'll have in the next rounds, just to confirm, the following pairings: Greece versus Australia, India versus Belgium, Canada versus France, UAE versus Thailand, Portugal versus Italy, Germany versus Israel, Malta versus Japan, Azerbaijan versus Slovenia, Netherlands versus the USA, Hungary versus Croatia, GVR versus Uruguay, and Ecuador versus Poland. With updated results of this Flight B already, where Greece has won versus Australia. So we'll see Greece fight against the winner of Canada versus France. Let's see if we have missed any of the blue flight pairings. And at the moment we don't have more updated results. We're here in race number 17 in the blue course, Argentina versus Bermuda. And still looking good for the Argentinian squad. We're seeing here Rex from Bermuda trying to fend off the Joaquin from Argentina. He has to do all he can. If this situation ends like this, it will mean they are out and they will have to face the winner of the losers match from that we'll see soon coming up. But it's looking really good for Argentina. Argentina on the other side just have to make sure that they hold the lead. Wind getting a bit lighter. It is very warm here in Tanger, over 30 degrees, and the sailors are going to spend lots of time in the water, so very, very, very important for them to keep hydrated and make sure that they're in good mental state to be able to race, because small mistakes can become very expensive and mean that you get into a bracket that's very complicated. And here we are back to our shore rib shots. We're seeing Argentina still in a good position. We saw Gino from Argentina and Thomas from Bermuda. Situation has turned around a bit. Looks like the Bermudians are managing to squeeze in, but I don't know if it's enough at the moment. Looks like it's a 1-6 or even a 1-3, so they have to turn it around. They have to try and catch one of the Argentinians and push him back. If this ends like this, it's game over for Bermuda. Here we are with the finishing line shots. Argentina, Tomás Calvo just crossing, and now we're seeing Gino and Tomás Morteo crossing. 1, 2, 3. Congrats to Argentina for the win. Whilst Tomás tried his best, tried to help his teammates, but something went wrong. They'll debrief. Not the end of the regatta for them. They can still fight it off. They will now fight against the winner of Peru versus Denmark. When we see the results of that race, we'll know against who Bermuda fights, whilst Argentina will face against the winner of Turkey versus Singapore. Very interesting pairings coming up, very interesting and very high level in this blue course. And now we're live in the other camera with the next match. We have Turkey versus Angola. Just passing there. And here we're seeing Switzerland versus Virgin Islands. Winner of this match will face the loser of Turkey versus Singapore, whilst the loser of Switzerland versus Virgin Islands will be out of the game. So let's see if we can play around with the cameras and see a bit of a better overview of how it's looking for every of the teams. Just as a quick view, I'm seeing Virgin Island sailors a bit more behind, so that's not the best for them. They look like they're in 7th and 8th position, so they want to turn this around. The umpires close up, the media team close up, trying to follow the races but not disturb the sailors too much. And here we're a bit of a delay in this shot, but we're just seeing the sailors approach the downwind mark. Close up from Switzerland versus Virgin Islands. And here we are back. Very important match coming up, very high level. Turkey versus Singapore. We have more updated results while we see this match coming through. In the next flight we'll have winners: Brazil versus Sweden, Morocco versus Ireland, Mexico versus Austria here in course blue. Whilst in course yellow we don't have more results at the moment for course yellow. We're following a live link that has been shared to us that they update the results, but as you can see, this is non-stop, not a break for anyone in the race committee or the media team, so non-stop going on and on. We're here following Turkey versus Singapore. Turkey represented by the overall leader Cengiz and his teammates Jag, Nur, Eren, Emir and Metehen, while Singapore is represented by Ashlyn, Lucas, Lyric, Kevin and Ethan. Let's just remember it's a 4 versus 4, so one of the teammates is resting at the moment. Great close-up shot here. We're getting really close.
El que está grabando no tiene ni puta idea.
And here we're seeing the finish of Turkey versus Singapore match. Looks like Singapore unfortunately took the loss. That means they are not out. They are not out, but they will face a different rival. We will see in the next round the winner face Argentina will be Turkey versus Argentina in the next round, whilst Singapore will face the winner of Virgin Islands versus Switzerland. We're already in the next match. Here we're seeing Peru versus Denmark. They unfortunately both of them lost their first match, so this is the losers match at the moment, but still they can still fight it out and improve. Looks like Denmark are in a 1-2 position at the moment. Let's see if we can see who is the third position, as that is determining. If it's Denmark, then that could mean they have an easy pass to the next round, whilst if it's Peru, it could mean that the match is more tight. So Denmark at the moment, Asger in first position and Benjamin, his teammate, in second position. We have Chiara from Peru in third position, and fourth position for Danish Lurk, and fifth for Peru 381 Daniel. It's a tight match. At the moment looks more inclined towards Denmark winning, but it is not over yet. It is not over. We can still see the match being turned around. We've seen it in the previous few matches, and as the racing progresses throughout the days, we'll slowly get more and more used to the same teams that will phase it off. Right now, 48 teams that we're trying to cover, and slowly moving down and closing down to less teams. So here we are in the bottom upwind mark that we're seeing there. Now we're doing an upwind towards the finish, and here we are going upwind again. Denmark 1, 2, followed by Peru, which is protesting. We see Chiara with her hand up, probably hailing a protest and bringing a red flag up. If we see that, the umpire will have to respond if she's hailed correctly, and we could see turns coming up. Daniel de la Puente fourth at the moment, and Danish 8795 Lurk in fifth position. We've just seen teammate from Denmark, Asger, coming down to give a hand, because what's important here is not just winning the race, but you making your team win the match. That's very, very important. So here we are about to finish this race, last upwind. This is the first losers match that we'll see, and whoever wins here lives to another race. Whoever loses is already out of the game. So tight battle, very, very important for all the sailors to make sure that they are fully focused and they win this match, because if they lose, it will be game over if it's losing. Looks like Chiara from Peru taking P1, Asger from Denmark taking P2 from our perspective, and looks like two more Danes just coming through now. So second Dane coming through and third Dane. Looks at the moment from this perspective that it's match for Denmark, but we will see, and when we get further confirmation of results, we will let you know. To the next match, we're having here Puerto Rico versus Norway. Puerto Rico and Norway are coming both from winning their matches against Puerto Rico versus Latvia and Norway versus Chile. Both of them winning or losing keeps them alive, because they won their first match, so they haven't burned their bullet yet. And here we have it. Representing Norway, we have the squad of Camille, Isaac, Noah, Nikolai, and Oscar. And for Puerto Rico, we have Inés, Lucas, Guillermo, Rafael, and Valeria. Let's see how the race course is looking, see who is in the leading positions at the moment. So in the comments you're asking if there's fleet racing going on at the moment. Also, not today and tomorrow, it's only team racing going on. We have the first world champion being crowned tomorrow, which will be the team racing world champion, and fleet racing will start again on Thursday. That will be the first day of finals of of fleet racing, where the sailors will be divided into gold, silver, bronze, and emerald fleet based on their positions of the overall. Let's switch cameras quickly just to see the fleet. 2 umpires in this match. Switching back to the water camera now. So at the moment in the race course we are following here Chile versus Latvia. These were the losers of the first match. Latvia lost against Puerto Rico and Chile lost against Norway. At the moment looks like Chile is in a comfy lead, whilst we're having also in the other screens we're having Spain versus Hong Kong coming up soon. Vamos a España. Let's just go over a recap of the updated results in the yellow course for those asking yellow. We have updated results of India versus Belgium. We have results on India versus Belgium, where Belgium won. Canada versus France, Canada winner, France lost. UAE versus Thailand, Thailand won, UAE lost. Portugal versus Italy, Portugal won, Italy lost. Germany versus Israel, Germany won. And we are still waiting on Malta versus Japan, Azerbaijan versus Slovenia, Netherlands versus USA, GBR versus Uruguay, and Ecuador versus Poland. Next up for Flight C, once we finish this, we'll see Greece battle off against Canada in match 25, Belgium versus France for match 26, Australia versus Thailand for match 27, and then we will have Italy, Germany, and Portugal fight against the new rivals that will come up once we know. Here we are, vamos a España, España versus Hong Kong. This is round 2. At the moment, representing Spain, we have Mar Peñalver, Valentina Belso, Nicolás Bastard, and let's see if we see the fourth Spaniard that's racing at the moment. It will either be Hugo or Daniel. Let's see if we can get a bit of a better view. And for Hong Kong, we have Alix Margot, let's see if we see the rest of the teams that are appearing now on screen, approaching the top mark. We're having here Mar Peñalver just waiting at the mark with Tara Malia from Hong Kong to leeward of her. Nicolás Bastard there, and let's see if we can see. So we have Spain 3724, 373, 35584. So the team racing right now is Nicolás, Hugo, Valentina, and Mara. For Hong Kong, we are having Rowan, Tara, Margot, and Ali racing, and Chantal taking a break. Let's switch to the closer camera at the moment. 4-0 for Spain. This is very good for Spain. If they can hold this, it will be a winner. For me now, from my Opti racing back at the times, I would send the fourth sailor, which at the moment it is Nicolás Bastard to fend off the Hong Kong forces and just keep himself, give his teammates some distance to be able to make sure they take that precious 1, 2, 3. To get here, let's just refresh ourselves. Spain beat Angola and Hong Kong beat Finland. If any of these two teams loses, it's not a problem, they can still fight on. It's not like Angola versus Finland where the loser will be out. So the winner will face the winner of Puerto Rico versus Norway, whilst the loser will fight against the winner of the loser will fight against Chile. And now we're back to the close shot. We're just seeing the sailors of Hong Kong around the mark. Not looking good. Not looking good for all at all. We have Hong Kong in 6, 7, 8, and 5th position. 5, 6, 7, 8, and Spain taking 1, 2, 3, 4 very comfortably at the moment. So Hong Kong needs to do something. They need to split up in the upwind or find a solution to make some space across them, because if it stays like this, it will be victory for Spain. Let's try switch camera now, see if we can see the other matches going on. Should be Angola versus Finland. Let's see if it goes on the screen. And here we have it, pre-start for Angola versus Finland going on. These two teams unfortunately lost their first match. Angola lost against Spain and Finland lost against Hong Kong. So, loser of this match, unfortunately out of the game. We see the umpires there very closely judging not only the technique but also the incidents that might occur. And Finland represented by we have here Finland, Olavi first in pin. Now just taking turns Annika. We also see Finnish sailor Emma, and to round off we have Sisu from Finland. So that's a team composed by Finland, and then we're also having Angola with Vasco, Telmo, Gabriel and Emanuela. Only 4 sailors, so no reserve at the moment, meaning that the whole 4 sailors have to race the whole regatta. Back to Spain versus Hong Kong. Looks like Spain is still in the lead, and looks like Nicolas Bastard that we were speaking about before is doing a great job holding on the Hong Kong sailors far away from his teammates. So looks like a 1-2-3 for Spain in this 1-2-3 for Spain in this match, and they will pass on to the next round. We will now then see Spain versus the winner of Puerto Rico versus Norway, and Hong Kong face against Chile. Latvia unfortunately is out, and once we get back to the fleet of Angola versus Finland, we will see who manages to win this second match and stay alive. Angola sailor Emanuela rounding in first place, very comfy. Looks like Angola sailors are doing a really good job. 1, 2, 3 there. Angola, Gabriel and Vasco, 1, 2 and 3. Finland, Annika, close, but looks like it's trouble for Finland here. We have Angola in first position, second, fourth and fifth. If one manages to stop Annika from Finland and the other two just race it off, it could mean that it's a victory for Angola, and would mean that Finland unfortunately out of the match. Let's see if we have updated results from the yellow course whilst we see the racing going on. And yes, we have some updated. We will see in the next round Italy versus Japan. Japan beat Malta, congrats to Japan. Germany versus Malta, and Portugal against the winner of Azerbaijan versus Slovenia. As the bracket comes through, we will let you know. Let us know for who you're cheering at the moment. What team are you looking for? I see some fan Joao in the comments here pushing Joao and pushing here for Angola. He'll be happy with what he's seeing in the screen right now. Angola in first position, Angola in second, and Angola in third. So looks like a victory for Angola at the moment. The sailors managed to sail very fast. We're seeing that it's a bit wavy. We can really see it because the waves are bouncing the leach of the sails and it's light wind, so the boats are just like bouncing around a bit. But here we have it, 1, 2, 3 for Angola, and it is at the moment Vasco, Gabriel and Emanuela taking this speedy run. whilst we see Annika from Finland trying to catch up. Let's see what the Finland sailors can do, but Angola now have it very easy. You just gotta rush through, get to the finish line as soon as possible, and not care too much about tactics, because there's a trade-off. Like in this team racing, we want to be fast, we want to have good maneuvers, but we also want to be able to, when it's needed, get into team racing, know the rules and push to the limits. But sometimes it's just about the basics. We make some distance and we can just sell clear, easy fleet racing, then we do so. So, updated results for the blue bracket. In the next round, we'll see Brazil versus Sweden, Morocco versus Ireland, Mexico versus Austria, Argentina versus Turkey, Switzerland versus Singapore, Bermuda versus Peru, Norway versus Spain, Chile versus Hong Kong, and Puerto Rico against Angola at the moment. If Angola wins, that will be the next match we see. This is the last match of Flight B of the Blue Fleet. After this, we're gonna go straight into Flight C. Sweden versus Brazil already coming up. So and here we have it, Sweden versus Brazil just coming up in screen. Teams are slowly moving and are slowly cutting off. For Sweden, we're seeing Natalia here just getting to the top mark. Brazil, Arthur just to leeward of her. We can see the sailors are really on point with everything. Spread well tight, well in place, working on the technique, because if we're fast, it obviously makes our life easier. Let's switch and see around. Here we see Manuel and Francisco from Brazil. We're already seeing Azerbaijan sailors going back to shore, so that gives us a hint that they lost, meaning that Slovenia won through. So we will be seeing in the last match of Flight C, match 27-30, we'll see Portugal against Slovenia. And here we see the sailors rounding the top mark from Brazil versus Sweden. Natalia from Sweden, first position. Manuel from Brazil, second. Brazilian Arthur in third. And then we're seeing Carl from Sweden in fourth. It's a tight match. It's not as some matches we've seen before that it's a 1-2-3. We have at the moment 1, 4, 5 for Sweden, 2, 3, 6 for Brazil, and then we're seeing Sweden's Oliver getting a bit trapped by Brazilian sailor and just allowing his teammate to come through. Sailors here have to be all the time connected to the boat and have a really clear mind. They have to, one of the team at least has to know the points very clear if they're winning or losing to take the call, because they need some type of coordination. If they're just doing whatever they want, it could end badly. So they need to know, one needs to take the calls or maybe shared between two of them, but there has to be some kind of order and pattern here, because if you stop teammates, if your teammate stops someone but then you let someone go through from the other team, not good. We're seeing there Oliver just taking some turns. Wind is getting lighter for sure, and we're seeing that it's warm. We can see Morocco in the background. Beautiful venue here. I've really enjoyed it the last few days. Great conditions. Yesterday took a while to come the wind, but when it came, it delivered. And here we are seeing it. This is the first match of Flight C. Winner goes into top 16 nearly. They will move into match 38. Loser will go into one more round before being the qualified team. You're asking in the chat, yes, the competition is in Tanger. We're seeing at the moment Natalia from Sweden just stopping at the bottom mark, not going too fast because maybe their teammates need her. Manuel from Brazil doing the same thing. We're gonna see the race get very tight here in this bottom mark. Let's switch camera, get a bit of a different view. And here we have it. Here we have it. We're seeing Didrik and Natalia stopping with Manuel and Arthur. The fleet is about to get compressed. It's about to get tricky. Natalia decides to come through, whilst Brazilian Joao is in the outside. Arthur just coming through also there. So P1 for Natalia at the moment, followed by Arthur. Swedish Carl. Oof, that was tight. So Brazil just turns around the match. We are having Natalia in P1, P2 for Arthur, P3 for Manuel, P4 for Carl, and P5 for Didrik. Looks like, I would say at the moment, it's a match for Brazil. They need to turn it around somehow. If we switch the cameras, we're seeing here that they're starting to fight it on the reach. Brazilian just passing through. Looks like Brazil is in 1-2. Great technique here. We're seeing them. The Swedes looks like they're trying to push two Brazilians into the back. They've just let Arthur and Manuel. They've just let Joao and Manuel pass through, and they're gonna focus on Arthur. At the moment, 1-2-3 v1. Arthur taking spin here, so infringe the rule. If you make a mistake and you know it, it is very, very quick and easy to just take a quick spin. You don't lose that much. But if you overdo it and you get two spins by the umpire, it could really change the situation. And we're seeing great ball handling technique here. We're seeing Brazilian Francisco really stopping the boat, fighting here 1v1 versus Oliver, really stopping. Looks like Francisco has got clear order to stop Oliver from Sweden. And here we're seeing the sailors slowly going to the upwind. 1-2 at the moment for Brazil, 3-4 for Sweden. So let's see how it looks for. Looks like probably Sweden will have to send one of their sailors back and send some extra help. But it's not looking bad. It's a tight match. You can see the level is slowly going up and going up. Let's switch camera, see around. Bit of the water shots. Here we're seeing Brazil in 1 and 2 position. 3 and 4 still for Sweden, as I was saying, and we need to turn this around. It is a tight match. It is a tight match, and we'll probably not know the result until after the finishing line because we're not there. So we'll need to get confirmation. Sometimes the shots are a bit tricky to see. We're seeing the sailors already come back. This is a match that is going to be decided at the finishing line. And we're seeing the Brazilian sailors deciding to not cross the finishing line, coming back, fighting the Swedes and trying to get the positions needed. But this has really stretched out. We're seeing here Manuel not going through, Joao not going through. Swede also coming back. This is Carl from Sweden. Carl Ringling, bronze medalist, finished 3rd place. This is tight. This is tight, and we're right in the middle of the action here. We're seeing the whole fleet stop. This is like chess. You have to put your sailors in place, and once the time comes, you execute. Everybody looking back, everybody making the distance, but it is for sure tight. Carl here, Carl taking a spin. Carl taking a spin. And there we saw, let's see if there's protest. Yeah, protest here by Brazilian sailor Joao putting the flag up. Let's remind ourselves, we can see a green flag or a red flag for any of the 2 sailors. It doesn't have to only be the one that's getting protested. It could be that the umpire decides that you took a penalty, so you stop, you have to take turns. Brazil 1, 2, Sweden 3, 4, 5. Swedish sailor here looking happy. That looked like Carl Bergenson from Sweden. Looks like he was happy, so probably meant he won. And Didrik just coming through here in the camera. So it looks like victory for Sweden. We're a bit of a tricky cam, so we're in the middle of the action. So it could be that the finishing line saw other news or other way of the finishing line, so we will have to see. Now 2 sailors, one from Sweden, one from Brazil, will get measured. Could be that the sailor gets disqualified. There's normal class limitations, luff line, bailer, and so on, so it is very important for the sailors to comply. Next matchup, Ireland versus Morocco. They're already in the last leg. Just to put up the course quickly, we're in this leg to the finishing line, and this is non-stop. We're seeing Ireland, sorry, this is not the finishing line, but this is the reaching. We're in the last reaching here. Ireland in 1, 3, 5, 6, and Morocco in 2, 3, 4. Looks like the locals are in control at the moment of the match. They will be happy right now if they win, so let's see how it goes. Let's refresh, see how the yellow box is looking. At the moment, we're still waiting for the last set of matches. Netherlands versus USA, Hungary versus Croatia, GBR versus Uruguay, Ecuador versus Poland. The rest of the bracket we have completed, and we'll see in the next round. Winners of race 13 and 15, Greece and Canada. Winner of race 14 and loser of race 15, Belgium and France. Australia and Thailand also coming through. Italy, Japan, Germany, Malta, and Portugal versus Slovenia. And here we have match Austria versus Mexico. We're already in the first upwind of this race. Just to recap where the teams are coming from. Mexico won against Czech Republic, lost against Brazil, and Austria lost against Sweden and won against New Zealand. So this is what we are seeing. Winner of this team will qualify against the loser of Argentina versus Turkey. And representing Mexico in this race, we have Evan from Mexico. I'm also seeing Otis. And let's see if we can see the rest of the sailors. Representing Austria, I see Maria Victoria, Clemens, Daniel, and we're missing one more sailor. Umpire just getting here very close. Green flag for the incident. Green flag, and here we're in the top reaching of the course. We're in the top reaching part, and we'll now see soon the sailors go in a downwind. And just to put a bit the sponsors that are bringing this, we have City Sales, Goldwins, Atlantis Academy, Selden. Also helping us here, the local sponsors of Marsa Morocco, Southeast Car Brand, Royal Air Morocco, and Sofitel Luxury Hotels. All of these sponsors are making this event and this streaming possible. Thanks to Optimallorca, Sail It Pro, New Blue, and Turtle Project that are all collaborating with the stream. And lastly, we have Movenpick, Morocco, Visit Morocco, and Baltic. Thanks to all of you for bringing this amazing event in this amazing venue. First event IOTA hosts as a World Championship in Africa for a very, very long term. But the organization are for sure delivering, and the venue is also delivering amazing conditions. And here we are. Looks like Austria is in P1, Mexico P2, and Austria in positions 3 and 4. At the moment, looking like a good match for Austria, but still not done. You are asking for the result of Sweden versus Brazil. We will refresh now, see if we have the winner. At the moment, still no official confirmation of who won the match, so we cannot disclose results we don't know. Let's go back here. Mexico versus Austria. Again, once we get to the mark, the situation turns around very, very quickly. Austria, that we saw lead comfy, now in a 7 and 8 position. Not good, not good at all. 7 and 8 will always result in a loss, so they have to turn the situation around. Two umpires per rib. The way the umpiring work is that one is saying their one boat and the other one is saying the other boat, and they call their actions. It will be like, okay, holding course, holding course, holding course, changing course, and the other one will be like changing course, and basically they just narrate what each boat is doing, and that way once they agree that they have done an action that breaks a rule, that's when they flag. But the umpires cannot officially start many protests. They can start if there is a team collision or for pumping, but if there is no collision, they cannot start, for example, Rule 10 or a Rule 11 penalty. Mexico turning this match around, not looking good for Austria at the moment. Austria, we have in last position, unfortunately. Maria Victoria, that we saw before, was in a good position at the top mark, and Daniel also 7 and 8. Let's change camera, see a bit of the overview, but not looking good here, unfortunately. Pressure building. We can see the sea is a bit more full, a bit darker. We can see more, let's say, squiggles. That means the pressure is increasing. So when the wind picks up, it makes boat handling extremely important, because we're seeing how many tacks and jibes the sailors are doing constantly. So very, very, very important for them to quickly be able to manage the boat, and when the wind increases, it makes the boat handling more complicated. And here we see sailors approaching the finishing line. Looks like Austria took 1 and 2, but we'll have to see if they take 7 and 8. If they take 7 and 8, unfortunately it's a loss, but could be. Yes, looks like the Mexican sailor finishes last overall, so unfortunately that will mean they will lose. Mexico looks like they will lose, and at the moment no more matches for a few minutes. I think this is the end of round B, flights B. Let's check on the grid. We were at the moment, sorry, this was a flight C, Mexico versus Austria. So we will leave you with a bit of adverts for a few minutes and then we'll come back. Thanks for tuning in with us.
Hey everyone, I'm not going to be there with you today, but I didn't want to miss this moment. More than 20 years ago, I was in a fleet like the one you're watching right now. There's where Nestor, my co-founder, and I met. And we haven't left the water since. But at some point we started seeing what we didn't want to see. How much pollution comes from the sport we love the most. Neoprene, materials, manufacturing processes, it all has a cost and the ocean is the one paying for it. 6 years ago, we started as a cleanup organization, pulling trash out of the water, and that's when it became all clear. We needed to go to the root of the problem. So we created Turtle Project around 3 simple actions. Clean the ocean, every wetsuit sold removes 1 kilo of plastic waste. Restore, we take back all wetsuits to give them a second life. And prevent future damage. Our products are made with natural materials that cut emissions by 80%. Watching this championship brings to me a lot of memories from 20 years ago. And we still want to make sure that this sport is not a problem for the planet anymore. If someone watching us runs a water sports operation, sailing school, surf school, whatever, and wants to do things differently, just reach out. We will help you make it sustainable step by step. If you are in Spain in the following days, we will be in collaboration with another world sailing event. Join us at the IQ Foil Youth Walls at Club Vela Ballena Alegre. We will be collecting all wetsuits to recycle on spot. And there's a gift for the 50 first people who bring one. Before I go, I want to wish good luck to all sailors competing this week. The level of sailing we're seeing is incredible, and extra support to Nico, who has won the warm-up regatta and is looking very strong. Thank you and see you in the water. Hey everyone, I'm not going to be there with you today, but I didn't want to.
We're back live now with some more racing. We're here seeing Switzerland versus Singapore. Close-up shots already of the racing coming up. They're already on the top mark. Reach going to the downwind now. Representing Switzerland, we have Dimitri, Adrian, Lou, Tim, and Elliot. And representing Singapore, we have Ashlyn, Lucas, Lyric, Kevin, and Ethan. Top upwind, top reaching mark now, approaching soon the downwind. And we're also having Turkey versus Argentina in the downwind. Getting there. At the moment, looks like Elliot from Switzerland is following close Singapore. Lucas, Lyric, and Kevin. 1, 2, 3 at the moment for Singapore. Singapore used to be an extremely strong nation. Back in 2013, they finished, I believe, 1, 3, 4, and 5 in the overall. And also won the team racing. It was when Fernando Alegre was the national coach of Singapore. And they did an excellent job. They completely controlled the Optimist class. They won 2012 and 2013 Worlds back-to-back, and team racing also. And it looks like they're not in a bad position here overall now. Still, we have racing at the moment for Singapore. We have Ethan seeing right now. We're also seeing Lyric. And let's see if we can see the rest of the team. Kevin also, and last but not least, we're having Lucas. Lucas was at the Worlds last year and also at the Rock. We were cheering and he was doing some good races and we were commenting for him. Whilst on the other hand, we have Switzerland team coached by Adrian Barceló. We are having here Dimitri from Switzerland. Now just rounding the mark, we are seeing Switzerland's Elliot in P1 at the moment, and we can see how it once again gets really tight here. Singapore Lyric just rounding in second, followed by third Kevin, fourth for Lucas Cao, and here we have double flag. We have Dimitri and Ethan just flagging each other. Looks like Ethan knew he took mistakes, so he's just taking a quick penalty there. Puts him into last position, still an expensive penalty, but he's not outside of the game still and can help his teammates. At the moment, 7 and 8 for Singapore, so they need to turn the situation around. And here we are just seeing the racing from underneath. Great shots by our cameraman here. So they're doing a really good job making the racing very entertaining and easy to follow through. Joao and Ilka, Sailor 7 from Angola, cheering for his Angola Opti teammates. Angola made it through in the last round, and we're just seeing his local older sailors supporting them, so he'll be happy. You're asking about the results. We will share now the link with the results. The race committee are trying to update it as often as possible, but there are many tasks going on in a day like this, so we will share that quickly with you in a second. Unfortunately, it's too long, the link, and doesn't let me share it. We will prepare it for you to be able to share it. We have here Switzerland Team Bailey in P1, P2 for Adrian Kohler, and followed closely by Ethan from Singapore. At the moment, not looking good for Singapore. We just saw them coming through in 7th and 8th place, so they need to turn it around. Let's see if we get some updated results of the racing in the yellow fleet. We have updates. USA beat Netherlands, Uruguay beat GBR, Hungary lost, and Croatia won. Following close, Poland beat Ecuador, so we will have USA versus Uruguay, Croatia versus GBR, and Netherlands versus Poland coming up. We'll soon be starting Flight C, where we'll have the winners, and we'll be soon to finishing this initial 48 down to 16 teams. Meanwhile, Switzerland versus Singapore finishing through. We'll soon see who won and who lost. Not looking good for Singapore at the moment. Looks like they're gonna come in 6th and 7th. So that is not good. We saw before Switzerland also finishing 1 and 2, so could be bad news for Singapore. back here, we're gonna get an overview of the few races we have racing at the moment. Let's see what the camera is seeing. We're seeing Spain versus Norway at the moment. Let's see if we can get into this match and see how it's looking for both teams, who is taking the early lead and who is having to do a bit of catch up, or maybe it's just tight overall. Norway looks like they have a sailor already in the upwind, maybe even two. Let's see if we can switch to another camera where we see it a bit better. Chile and Hong Kong just starting their match on the other camera, whilst we have Norway versus Spain here. Bit of a tricky situation seeing who is winning at the moment. Let's see if we can change to our other onboard camera and see a bit more of a close action. Here we have it. Getting a bit of a close-up of Norway versus Spain. We're seeing Spanish sailor Nicolás close here to the camera. And he's for sure way ahead of the rest of the fleet. We're also seeing Dani Capa, Hugo González, and Valentina. We don't know if there's any Norway sailor in front, or if there is. We're seeing Nicolás there just waiting. Yeah, looks like it's 2, 3, 4, 5 for Spain. That's a clear victory for Spain. Vamos España. I'm here with their coaches and they'll be happy to take another win. With another win now, it will mean, let's see what happens with this win. With this win, Spain versus Norway, they will qualify as fourth team, so will be the end of the day for Spain. They will go home already, whilst Norway will have to battle it against the winner of Switzerland versus Singapore. Let's update results, see if we have any further updates. So we have updated pool now. We have Sweden qualifying through, Mexico versus Argentina match to see who will fight to get qualified, Switzerland versus Norway, Spain qualifying directly now to the next round, and Chile versus Hong Kong. The winner here will fight against Brazil. It's getting complicated, this pooling. And then we will have Ireland versus France. France coming from the other group, from the Yellow Fleet, and Ireland coming through from just beating Morocco. Just to remind ourselves, Spain won last year in Slovenia, so they are here defending the World Championship. The other two teams were Singapore and USA, that finished second and third respectively, so we have here the teams battling it, trying to get again into those top positions. Meanwhile, Hong Kong versus Chile coming through. On the other bracket, we have a bit of updated results. Thailand beat Australia, so that's the end of an Australia match. Whilst Thailand will now fight Japan, that lost against Italy. And we're still waiting for more results. Greece, unfortunately, lost against Canada, so Canada qualifies as second team through. End of the day of Canada, Greece one more round, having to fight against the winner of Croatia versus GBR. Whilst in our screens we have at the moment Chile versus Hong Kong. Hong Kong represented by Chantal, Margot, Alix, Tara and Rohan, whilst Chile is represented by Martin, Vicente, Domingo, Vicente, and Agustin. And here we have it again, Hong Kong versus Chile, different view, tight match. Winner manages to stay alive, loser here will lose, and whoever wins will fight Brazil in the next round. So important battle here, none of the two teams want to get eliminated. Hong Kong rounding in first position. Let's see if we can see the number. Yes, it is Alix from Hong Kong. Then we are followed by Chile sailor Martin. Third at the moment is Margot from Hong Kong. Margot, current bronze female medalist in last year's Worlds in Slovenia. Fourth place for Domingo here. Domingo just slowing down, same as Rohan from Hong Kong. And we are seeing Rohan there just trying to stop Agustin from Chile. Teammate Domingo from Chile also coming back a bit. Remember, we will see a lot during today and tomorrow the sailors coming back to help their teammates before going to that finishing line. What's important is not only what you finish but what all your other teammates finish. So very, very important to count points and make sure you're under those critical 18 total points. And here we have the first sailor crossing through. It's Alix from Hong Kong. We'll have to see how the rest of the team does to see if it's a win or a loss for them. We're having here also Tara from Hong Kong and Margot from Hong Kong coming through, so I believe it will be a win for Hong Kong, and yes, it is a win for sure. We're seeing Chile, unfortunately, P7 and P8, so that's game over for Chile. Chile now will go home and focus back on the fleet racing, whilst Hong Kong will face Brazil in this next match. We will soon be also seeing Puerto Rico versus Finland. We are having it here in screen. Let's see if we can get back into position and see how this match is playing along. Just trying to see a bit the overall position, see who is fighting against who. I am seeing at the moment Puerto Rico's Guillermo in leading position. I'm also seeing Rafael from Puerto Rico just coming through. Sisu from Finland also in screen at the moment. Sisu, let's just remind ourselves, won the Opti Orange earlier this season where we were streaming also, and we're seeing Sisu just take turns. One turn, two turns, that means it was a penalty infringement. It was an umpire penalty, not a self-acknowledgement penalty. Where now he has a bit of catching up to do to help his teammates. I'm seeing also Puerto Rico 83 and Puerto Rico 91. That is Valeria and Guillermo. Beside Guillermo, I'm seeing Rafael also, and it is a tight match. It is a very tight match. Not seeing Lucas in this match, Lucas from Puerto Rico, so that means we're also having Ines from Puerto Rico. Ines, current vice world champion from last year's Slovenia Worlds. Let's switch to a bit wider camera, see if we get a bit of a better shot. No, so we focus back here. At the moment, I would say it's looking more in favor for Puerto Rico. Whoever wins here will make it through. So, just to remind ourselves, Puerto Rico versus Finland. Whoever wins gets to live one more race. Whoever loses, unfortunately, game over for them. They have already both of them lost one match, so they do not have many more bullets to burn. Let's see if we get updated results from the yellow course. And still waiting for updates from the yellow course. From the blue fleet that we've been following through, we have Sweden already through, Mexico versus Argentina match coming through, Turkey already through, Switzerland versus Norway coming up, Brazil versus the winner of Chile versus Hong Kong. I believe it was Hong Kong, so we will see those coming through. And then Denmark versus the winner of Puerto Rico versus Finland. Whoever wins here will go through. Let's go to our next cameras we're having here to see who makes it against this ending top 16. We're trying to see the cross for the pass to the top 16 of Argentina versus Mexico. Team that wins here qualifies straight away. Team that doesn't win goes to the pool, and inside the pool there are some rules depending on the total points, wins accumulated, and so on, of who gets to fight once again. Looks like the sailors have it all clear. All ports start, meaning that there's something in the right that we're not seeing from here, but it's very important. Once again, let's look at the current. It is crazy strong. If we go quickly back to that shot, we can see that the race committee is completely crossed. And here we are with the camera following the racing. Argentina versus Mexico. Let's see if we can find which sailors are racing in this race. Argentina, as I've joked before during the day, it's the Tomás team. 3 out of the 5 team members are Tomás, so the Tomás squad is going strong, trying to find their pass into the top 16. And here we see top mark just coming through, the sailors from the match Argentina versus Mexico just coming through. And let's see if we can see who is in this exact match. I see already Mexico's Jorge Muñoz coming through, along Otis from Mexico, Lucio from Mexico also in this match, and last but not least we are having Evan. Let's switch around, see if we can see who is in the Tomás/Argentinian squad. And for sure we will have one Tomás at least. And we're having here Joaquin in P1, also his teammate Gino, P2. So that leaves for sure 2 more Tomases to be identified. Tomás Molinari also there with his teammates, and let's see if we find which of the other 2 Tomases it is. And it's Tomás Morteo. Tomás Morteo, best overall for the Argentinian squad at the moment. He is in P12, followed closely by his teammate. It was P14, Gino. But now, completely different story. Their team racing, trying to make their pass to tomorrow's top 16. Let's change around and let's see how the match develops. We're getting here to the bottom mark of the course. Just to put it quickly in screen, we're here going from this reaching to the downwind at the moment. So we're back here. We're seeing now Switzerland versus Norway. And this will be the match to see who qualifies as team number 12. Let's see if we have any updated results at the moment from the other bracket, the yellow bracket. At the moment, still in the same place. We're having no updates as for now from the results. We're just seeing this live, Switzerland versus Norway. We're having here Swiss Dimitri, Adrian, Lou, Tim and Elliot battling against the Norway sailors Isaac, Noah, Nikolai, Oscar and Camille. Let's see if we manage to see which of the sailors are in this match, as it's just a 4 versus 4. One of them has to take a break. I'm seeing already Tim from Switzerland, Elliot from Switzerland and Lou. So it will either be Adrian or Dimitri taking a rest. We will see it soon. On the other hand, we have a Nikolai from Norway with his teammate Oscar in screen right now. Looks like the Norwegians are 1-3 at the moment, playing a man-on-man. So let's see how that plays out when we see the rest of the team. Bit of a stretch out. We're seeing Norwegian and Swiss coming just through with another Norwegian. So probably last at the moment is a Swiss right now. And we will have to see how this match plays. It's for sure tight. They're using a man-on-man strategy, 1-for-1. So they will just try cover the rival and allow their teammates to come through. Let's quickly switch now to Hong Kong versus Brazil. Hong Kong just finished a match we saw a second ago. We just saw Hong Kong race against Chile and win. So now we will be seeing Hong Kong Brazil. Whoever wins here gets a pass directly to tomorrow. The other one will have to go into the pool. So let's see how this match plays along. Switching camera quickly here to see this top upwind mark of Hong Kong versus Brazil, whilst we are also seeing at the bottom Switzerland versus Norway. Here we are, close up again of Switzerland versus Norway. Swiss sailor Dimitri in the background. I think he is not sailing at the moment. Yeah, he is not sailing. So the official team racing right now is Adrian, Lou, Tim and Elliot. Whilst for Norway we are having Isaac, Nikolai, Oscar and I don't know if it's Camille or Noah racing at the moment. Let's see if we can get a bit of a close-up. Sailors just approaching, looking like Norway is in a 1-2-3 situation. Yep, 1-2-3, so that's a victory for Norway. Norway makes it through. And I think Switzerland will go into the pool of teams where the total points and the wins will be taken into account, where you have lost and so on. And now straight into the next match, Brazil versus Hong Kong. Both teams very, very strong individually. Brazil very strong in the overall right now in this regatta. Right now having sailors in 3rd, 6th, 11th, 22nd and 29 overall. So definitely looking very, very strong. I would say they are the strongest nation at the moment in this overall, because all your sailors inside top 30 is crazy hard to do. Whilst Hong Kong, not bad either at the moment. We have a Hong Kong, Margot in 31st, Tara in 96, and the other sailors in a bit more further back, but they're here battling it anyways and really, really fighting for it. So they for sure won their pass against Brazil. Changing camera to see it a bit better now. We're quickly at the start where Denmark and Puerto Rico are soon starting their match, but let's stay with the action now. Let's see who is fighting against who in this match. We have a Brazil squad composed by Francisco, Tomás, Arthur, Manuel and Joao, and Hong Kong team Chantal, Margot, Ali, Tara and Rohan battling against each other. Let's get a bit of a further view. It's tight. It's tight, and once again, we're seeing mark traps coming up. Looks like Manuel from Brazil about to take the rounding here. Yeah, and we have a Joao once again crossing through. Looks like Joao is probably the rabbit of the team. They're just sending him to try and get that bullet. But it could be because of two reasons. Could be that he's a very strong team racer, so they want him in front to stop, or he could be a very fast sailor and they just want to make sure that they get one in the team scorecard. So could be for whatever of the two reasons. Let's switch camera. We're seeing here Manuel, Arthur, and Francisco. We also saw Joao. So let's switch to this camera. We're seeing the umpire here. Let's see if there's any calls at the moment. Red flag, yeah, red flag coming through. Let's see who is it. It's red flag for Joao from Brazil. That's not gonna be good. 2 turns here with the current can really stop you through. So here goes the first turn and here goes the second one. We can see he's already far back, so this completely changes the strategy and situation for Brazil. Second ago maybe it was a consolidate more, but now you have to go straight into attack mode. You need to get your friend Joao back into the game, so there is no other option than just stopping one. We're just seeing Alix from Hong Kong carrying through, Arthur from Brazil, Tara from Hong Kong, and also Francisco taking a turn there. Could it be? Yeah, Francisco just taking a turn. That's gonna be very unfortunate. Gonna put the Brazilians in a very bad situation. Hong Kong will be happy now. They need to race, they need to go fast, and they could get their straight pass to the finals of tomorrow. Let's update, see if we have any updates on the yellow course, any more racing that has gone through. We had Thailand versus Japan. We had no further updates. I'm just looking here. Slovenia won against Portugal, so Portugal unfortunately is out. Slovenia goes through, and Slovenia will now fight against the winner of Netherlands versus Poland. On screen now, Puerto Rico versus Denmark, back in the blue bracket that we have been streaming today. And winner here qualifies as team number 14. Loser goes into the pool, into this spool we've been speaking about, where the teams make it through based on their points and overall. And here we are, back in the finish line of Hong Kong versus Argentina. Sorry, Hong Kong versus Brazil. Let's see if we can count the points and see how it's looking. I think unfortunately it's a loss for Brazil. We will have to get confirmation by the finishing line as soon as we can, but I think Brazil unfortunately has not been able to win now, so Hong Kong will get a direct pass into the top 16. Let's change camera. We're getting an overview now. Teams starting to rest, some teams starting to go home because they qualified, some because their game finished, and they will be back focusing into the fleet racing for Thursday. But at the moment, Denmark versus Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico 91 already in the downwind. Let's see who Puerto Rico 91 was. This was Valeria from Puerto Rico just going through. With Denmark, we have at the moment a Danish Lurk with his teammate Asger. We are also having, let's see, just taking a turn now, we have a Benjamin. It's a tight match. And we'll see how it goes through. Back on the screen now we have Ireland versus France, just in pre-start procedure. Current staying strong, big factor during the day. It will affect us in many ways. If there's a difference in depth between the right and the left side of the course, then this could mean that there's a difference in the speed of the current, which will affect the strategy a lot. But if it's stable and it's more or less similar depth throughout the course, what will happen is that in the gates, in the marks, we will have be moved around, so it's important to know the distance and calculate well to not do too many tags. camera here from the pre-start Ireland versus France, whilst we're seeing Puerto Rico versus Denmark just coming through. We're slowly approaching to the last few matches of today. It's 5 o'clock here in Morocco. We've been racing since 1. The committee has been able to hold a really high tempo. We have only seen an AP at the start of the day, but the rest has been quite good, straightforward all the time. So that is really good. These days can sometimes get very long, but good, we have managed to quickly get through the races of today. Denmark versus Puerto Rico in screen 1, whilst in screen 2 we have Ireland versus France. France coming from the other bracket, France coming now from the yellow bracket and just coming here to fight against Ireland. Ireland unfortunately lost one of their first matches. They lost, let's see if we can identify where they lost. Ireland won against New Zealand in their first race, then battled it against Sweden and unfortunately lost. Sweden coming with 3 victories through, whilst Ireland lost against them, and 1 loss doesn't take you out but still puts you in a tougher situation. We have updates from the yellow course at the moment. We'll be soon seeing Thailand versus Japan for qualified team number 8. Canada qualified team number 2. Italy versus Japan to see who qualifies for team number 6. Germany versus Uruguay to see who qualifies for team number 11. Greece versus GBR to see who qualifies as team number 9. And Slovenia versus Netherlands to see who qualifies out of team number 13. Best of the pool gets you as team number 16, so 1 spot reserved based on your overall wins, losses and the points. So every point matters. Even if you're going to lose the match, you can't just give up. You have to really keep on pushing through and make sure that you don't give up, because that point that if you let someone through could be very, very expensive. Anyways, France versus Ireland here, probably one of the last few matches we'll see today. We don't have many more left. We're getting here onboard shots. We're having French sailors, which we were in the other course and we haven't really been seeing them throughout the day. We have seen the Irish team of Holly, Maeve, Emily, Philippa and Oscar Moore, but the French squad of Martin, Paul, Bastien, Quentin and Lilou, we haven't seen them much during the day. So let's see how they fight it out. Winning gets you through directly to tomorrow. Not winning means that you'll go into the pool and only the best out of the leftover teams will qualify. Once again, we're very happy of being here in the Opti Worlds streaming. We were last year in Slovenia and once here today. It's a great honor seeing these great young guns battling it out, both in the individual and the racing. These are the Olympians of tomorrow. Many of these sailors will battle it out throughout their whole lives. I have sailors I'm still fighting with that I was fighting in Optis or sailing against them. So these are some of your friends that you will have during your whole life. And as Road to Gold, we're very happy of being able to stream this amazing event. Also, thanks to the sponsors of the videos, of the streaming of this week. We have some sponsors that are really helping us make this job through. Also, one of the sponsors that is helping us come through is our online course. As Road to Gold, we have an online course for Optimist sailing specifically and adult sailing. If we have a special offer right now in case you're wanting to improve your performance from home with exclusive sailing videos where you can see technique, trainings, tactics, strategy, you name it. We cover it all in a 12-week program where we show you how to become a better sailor. If you're interested, in the link in the description you have a discount code where you can click, and there's a 40% discount code during this week. And also we will be hosting live events during the year. We've already hosted many. If you check in our YouTube channel, Road to Gold Sailing, you can see many of the interviews we've done with top sailors. We don't want the knowledge just to go through and disappear, so we're really pushing and created a really good structure that just keeps the knowledge within the hands of everyone. And back here looks like Ireland in a good position. French boat leading the regatta at the moment. It's Paul from France, but Irish in a two French boats here, 3 French boats here, so looks like victory for France unless they have some disqualification. We're seeing French Quentin, French Bastien and French Paul just coming through. Victory for France, so they will make it to tomorrow. So this has been the last match. We've been confirmed this was the last match for today. Let's see if we have updated results. Let's see if we have updated results from all the matches of today. And Sweden qualifying through, Argentina qualifying, Turkey qualifying, Norway qualifying, Brazil qualifying, Spain qualifying, Puerto Rico qualifying, France qualifying from this group, and we are still waiting from results from the Yellow Fleet. Let's see if we have any updates. We're still missing the qualified teams, but this has been the last racing of today that we will be streaming. Thanks to everyone for joining, and we will let you with the boats just coming through, and see you tomorrow for the finals of team racing, where we will see the first world champion being crowned of 2026.
Did you know the wetsuit you wear pollutes the ocean? Traditional neoprene takes 1,000 years to disappear. Clean. Restore. Prevent. Same performance, smaller footprint. Because protecting the ocean isn't optional, it's the whole point.